All right, the Reds. Thank you very much for tuning in for our daily Liverpool news show. If you are new around here and want to keep up to date on all things Liverpool, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, or whatever social media platform you are watching. Drop a follow, and also drop a follow to the 1892 Reds podcast. Luke is joining me tonight. We'll be discussing all things Liverpool transfer news as well, because I wanted to come on, discuss and get your thoughts, Luke's thoughts, and everything use at home, most importantly, your thoughts and opinions, because everyone's got a wide ranging of opinions, and we respect everyone's views as long as they're respectful to everyone else's thoughts as well. It's football. That's what football is all about. But it's going to be a crazy couple of days, isn't it, Luke? Whether Liverpool do react, I don't think we will. In terms of obviously the big news that broke 24 hours ago, it was rumoured Cristiano Ronaldo was moving to Man City, but he basically Raiola used that as a smokescreen for PSG and Manchester City and secured his client a move back to Old Trafford.
His loan move has been finished, eh?
Yeah, he's been on loan for how many seasons since he left Old Trafford?
I mean, it's clever business from Mino Raiola. I mean, obviously he's getting Ronaldo back at United. I mean, I did think it was quite funny, to be honest, last night. I mean, obviously when seeing that, that Ronaldo was linked with City, and you think to yourself, like, really? Like, is he actually going to turn his back on that loan move, as we just said? But, I mean, yeah, I mean, as I think Sophie put in there, United have been baited out. I mean, it's an interesting one because I mean, obviously, I see it in the sense of why is Solskjaer going to be able to manage the ego of a Ronaldo type player?
There's quite a lot of them in that Man United dressing room. And don't get me wrong, he's a quality player, world class player. Cristiano, he will bring that Manchester United. He puts them into the shout. I know we all joke of Ollie, but when you've got a player of that ability on the pitch, you're most definitely going to be in contention for whether that be leagues or trophies. I think, as we've seen in the Euros, mate, Ronaldo's more or less a manager. Remember in that final when he was on the touchline remonstrating with his players, mate. But it's going to be an interesting one for Liverpool, and it makes everyone at home. Let us know your thoughts. Will Liverpool delve into the transfer committee? I've just been speaking to Sophie and Dave and you over the last couple of weeks, mate, and everyone in the comment section below. It's going to be an interesting one whether Liverpool react as just then. I don't think we will, but if Liverpool do search a couple of transfer targets, really, I think that was Michael Edwards coming into the back room there. What was that? No. But yeah, do you reckon Liverpool, mate, and everyone at home, let us know. Do you reckon, Luke, Liverpool will delve into that supposedly transfer kitty, or do you reckon Liverpool will wait, whether it be 6 months or 12 months' time, to possibly get a player on free?
It's frustrating, isn't it? Because
it's the $1 million question.
Yeah, it's frustrating, to be honest, because I think it's always like the next summer, or we'll go to January or the next summer. And I think I think Jurgen Klopp come out today and, I mean, apparently said that we don't need a midfielder to replace, Genie, if that's the case, if that's true. I mean, personally, I am one of those Liverpool fans now where, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always believed in the manager and, whoever's in charge at the time. But with what Klopp's brought to Liverpool over the 5-6 years he's been at the club, whatever Klopp wants, I'm behind him all the way. If we don't need a midfield player to replace a Genie, when I'm behind him. I do think, I mean, just going back to your earlier point about are we going to bring anyone in? Probably not. But it'd be nice to bring in a forward player, though, wouldn't it?
Klopp's not a miracle worker, is he, Luke, and everyone at home? There's only certain moments he can keep on going back to the well, getting results, going back to the well, getting results. Last season was very prominent. Yes, we've not got the squad depth of the likes of City and Chelsea, because that's ridiculous, because they've got fantastic overall squads. But what we don't want, and it's important not just to lay the blame, if this coming season, obviously we're thinking positively and everyone's going rosy, but if the situation did arise, as you've alluded to there, mate, Gini Wijnaldum, his fitness levels and his availability for Liverpool over the last 4 to 5 years at the football club are above and beyond the average player. We're looking at Naby Keita. Great, he's starting, and hopefully he is starting against Chelsea, and that'll be 3 weeks on the bounce. Whether the question marks do hang over these players now, Ox, they're all great players. Ox, Henderson, he's had the surgery last year as well. Question marks over his availability. Thiago, he's picked up a couple of knocks as well. And what you will be left with, bare bones, in terms of if all those injuries do creep up, like we had with last season, with a very depleted partnerships at the back. We had 20%, over 20 plus partnerships at the back, and possibly could Liverpool, and everyone at home, let me know your thoughts, be looking at 20 odd partnerships in midfield, Luke, and everyone at home?
It's a risk, isn't it? I mean, Klopp.
You're playing with fire.
Yeah, I mean, Klopp took a bit of a gamble last year with the defensive side of it, and obviously it didn't pay off. I mean, it's not obviously just him. Obviously, FSG are the ones that have to create the funds, and obviously have to give him the funds to do so. I think Jurgen Klopp, especially last season, deserved the funds to at least go out and buy a couple of players that he wants. I am an adamant believer, though, that Jurgen Klopp only wants to sign the players that he wants.
No, that's spot on there, mate, because he's always done that. If a player is available next summer, Klopp's not going to publicly tell us or every fan and any potential suitors in Europe, oh, this player's available next summer. I can understand, but it's frustrating as fans, but you're spot on there, mate. It's whether these players are available and whether does Klopp sit there and go, if I wait 6 more months, as good as us not knowing, he could be having that foresight in the future. What you spot on there, mate. Yeah, would you add on to that, mate? Do you reckon that's what he's doing, or?
I mean, obviously being realistic, of course he'd want Mbappe, of course he'd want Haaland, of course he'd want all these players. What manager wouldn't? I mean, obviously it was never going to happen, but yeah, I think if he was offered Ronaldo, I think he'd have taken it. I think Klopp is that sort of manager that would like players at his football club, but he obviously does need. I do think that he must be a little bit frustrated inside that he's not been given the funds to be able to, resource in the squad, because, as you said about availability with Wijnaldum, people love him. People obviously have different opinions, but his availability last year was the second to none. And obviously the problem that we had last year was numbers in the squad, and Wijnaldum was an important player to our team. That's why I think that maybe that Basuma link as well was probably a good one. It might have happened. But as you said, mate, I highly doubt that Liverpool are going to go in this summer now and try and get something. I mean, see rumours that they could go under the radar like they did with Jota last year. I mean,
I'm hoping that's the case, mate, and we'd love nothing more, but it just shut me, you, and everyone up and everyone around the world in terms of transfers. We're not saying going out and buy a 50, 100 million pound player. We're just saying help Jürgen and help the club. Yes, we've got rid of Shaqiri. I think Origi and Jürgen's quotes have been very prominent over the last 24 hours. I think he's very much happy with Divock Origi, as much as he sees him week in, week out, training grounds. He's never been a player, Origi, to very much kick up a fuss.
Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about. We want to improve that quality, but it's not as easy as going, right, we want that player off the books. Unless you're going to be paying those wages off the books, and then you can leave, and then you can bring someone in. Obviously, Jürgen spoke heavily as well, didn't he, Luke, and everyone at home. Harvey Elliott very much being utilised in the midfield option this season, which is very interesting. He's got the ability to play that. So, absolutely spot on there, Gary. Jack, I'm not happy. Sign Ollie Watkins now. He is a bloody gem. He's a very good player, Ollie Watkins, mate. And I think you're speaking 50, 60, 70, 80 million. Just look what Aston Villa done with Jack Grealish. Very good player, mate.
English quota, isn't it?
English tax, mate, innit? I think, especially this late on in the transfer window, Gary, spot on there, mate. And with your comments, he's a very good player. Probably a player Liverpool have analysed, similar to Jota at that level. He's not quite at the highest bracket in terms of his final products. He's still a very young player. I think he's like 23, 24, 25. So he's got a lot of room to develop. But I think if he does progress, Ollie, at Aston Villa, I think he will get that big move. Whether I think possibly even to a Leicester or another high caliber team. No disrespect to Aston Villa because they're a massive team anyway. But in terms of his potential future development, possibly going in the future, mate. I don't think we can do it at his age. People keeping talking about his goals and so many games. If I'm not wrong, Salah has a better record, John. There's no doubting Ronaldo. He goes above and beyond. We'll be speaking to our kids and in the future, another 50 years, when we're all grey and old, everyone will be like, what was Cristiano Ronaldo like to watch as a footballer? He was a joke. That no one, it'd take a lot from Haaland and Mbappe to even get to their level, to Messi and Ronaldo's level, really. It's great for the product of the Premier League, but sadly it will help Man United push them onto, obviously, challenging for the top prizes, but it's all for them anyway. But the one thing the Man United are missing is Sir Alex Ferguson. They haven't got in between at the hot seat, and we see how good he was. People all sleeping on Cristiano Ronaldo because of his age. Latan teared it up. The generational players' age will be wise. The mental stage United are going to be scary this season, but we've got Mo. Yeah, it's the shout. It's spot on there, Jack. I think
that's. I was just sorry, Jack. I was going to say
that.
I think you're going to see a much more hungrier Mo Salah this year now. And I think the fact of like Ronaldo's, we all know what Ronaldo is, and we all know what he has been. He's, one of the greatest players of all time, and obviously he's come back to the Premier League. As a Premier League spectacle, it's fantastic to have Ronaldo in the Premier League. But I think you're going to see a much more better Mo Salah, because that's the height. Like Ronaldo has been, the pinnacle of football for say around 10, 15 years. All right, he's not going to be the same level as what he has been, but Mo Salah will look at that and think, right, I want to be as better as you. Like, I want to be better than you this year. And I think you'll see Ronaldo in that sort of level, as like, he might get an extra 5 to 10 goals this year. I'm actually very confident that we can get this contract with Salah over the line, and hopefully this season you're going to see Mo Salah scoring between 25 and 30 league goals this season.
Just remember them in the tunnel, Luke and Jack and everyone in that Champions League game. Obviously, Real beat us, but Ronaldo's face, just the look he gives Salah, he was like, this means business. But he's spot on there, Luke, as well, and Jack as well. With his age, Ronaldo, he's a machine. He's built like a machine. He's not built like he hasn't got a dad bod, but at his age, he's doing very well. Similar to James Milner, those two. Yeah. So if all of us have got bodies like that when we're 30 odd, I think we'll be very good. Spot on there, Jack. Not to get it twisted, boys. We are maybe 3 injuries away from the panic again, and it can happen now. This Empire, this is huge team, not to be in the conversation for the big teams. These big names. Let's move the camera so I can see all the comments. Apologies, everyone. Right, there we go. Well done, McKindo. You can see all the comments now. Properly, but spot on there. Hi, lads. Hope you're well. Connor, you're very welcome to join, mate. I know it's quite late, but the link is in the description, everyone. So if you want to jump on, get your quick thoughts in, or jump in, you're very welcome to. That is on Facebook and YouTube, the link. So, you're very welcome to join. Hi, Connor, as well. Surely Jurgen Klopp is not happy with this. It's the thing, innit, Jay? North, he's never, ever done a publicly say it. He's not that type of player. Jurgen, he heavily backs his players, and he has done that in his time at Mainz, at his time at Dortmund as well. And it's great. And if you're a player under Jurgen, that's what you want from your manager. He's a manager that gets the best, 150% out of his players, and a manager that doesn't heavily rely on his budget, a war chest. He will cater to what he's been dealt with. Yes, he will bring in players, won't he, Luke? But he gets every last ounce. Just look at James Milner, mate. Don't be wrong, a phenomenal player when he was at City, at Aston Villa as well, Leeds when he was younger as well, James. But he's getting the best out of, obviously, Matip, Milner. Do you reckon Jurgen Klopp, could he do a bit more of that this season? Obviously, we've got Harvey Elliott coming in, Curtis Jones, and Jurgen. What were your thoughts on Jurgen's comments as well? Everyone, let us know your thoughts on that. If you missed it, load up Twitter or social media. Jurgen Klopp talked about the Ronaldo situation and saying, obviously, Ronaldo is not a future player in terms of he's getting on to his later age. But Liverpool very much sounded like the FSG model, sadly. But that's what over all great sides, because if you can get a very good young core and then win and then win and then win, and when you've got a young core of players, that sets you up very well, doesn't it, mate?
I think you nailed it on the head, mate. I think it's, with the way Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool obviously set out, we know, as you said, it's that young core. It's that we'll look to the next couple of years. And I think he looks at players like, James Milner, maybe even more experienced players like the likes of Matip, Van Dijk, Salah, like even them sort of players. I think that's why Jurgen Klopp is just far and beyond one of the best managers in world football, if not, because I see it as a motivational period sort of thing. He's sort of putting so much belief in these young players like Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones. Obviously, he brought Trent through the ranks. He's obviously given chances to the likes of, like Nico Williams, Joe Gomez, all these players obviously that have come forward through the youths, to get into this Liverpool side. And I think it's so refreshing to see a manager of his caliber like putting so much faith in his younger players, and it just it makes the the first team and the more experienced players step up a lot more. And I think that's why he's renowned as probably the best manager in world football. Like what he can do with a short squad, a large squad, he's got that that core around him where you've got young players, you've got experienced players, and they're all together. So yeah, I mean, to bring in, Curtis Jones is an excellent young talent. We've got Harvey Elliott. I mean, obviously we've only had a couple of games with him. I think with Harvey Elliott, as much as a great talent he is, I think we can't get too carried away with him because he's going to have, he'll have a bad game, and it's like we don't want them people to say,
especially on social media, everyone's so quick, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like reactionary.
Yeah. We know how good he is. Like he obviously, proved it in the Championship last season with his assist record. Like, he was very good at setting up chances and creating goals. But, the Premier League's a different ball game for him. You see Burnley last week, he played well, but the physical side of it, compared to the Premier League and the Championship's two different levels, of course. But I do like what Klopp does with this squad. Like, as I mentioned before, the mixture of youth and experience is just so vital for our squad. And I think that's why we've got this model, because it's worked. Like, that's one thing I'll give FSG. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to give Klopp 150 million to say, look, go and get 2-3 players in that we need. But I think Klopp's a bit bigger than that to think, okay, like, I don't want fringe players always in my squad. I mean, if we go back to, was it the first or second year he was at the club, and we had like 8 or 9 players to get off the books.
Like some Alberto's, Jaspers, so many.
And I just think it's one of those, like, I don't think Liverpool want to get themselves in that situation again. So I don't think Klopp, we've got, you might agree with me or not, but we've definitely got 2 players in each position. Obviously the difference is compared to City, for example, there's a bit of quality, like, backup fullbacks, etc. But I trust Klopp with whatever he does, like whatever sort of thing he does.
I think, me and you do both as well, mate. And I can understand. That's why I wanted to get Luke and you all. I really do appreciate you dropping in the show as well. Your thoughts are very important. I can understand the frustration. It's hard. Twitter is very hard to explain your feelings over a certain amount of characters, and obviously people's thoughts get mistranslated in terms of text and everything. So, but it's I can understand where everyone's coming from, and whether you agree to disagree with people, it's important that everyone's opinions are respected. And whether Liverpool do or don't, it's, as Luke's alluded to, we all will. And I know every single one of you, every Liverpool fan around the world, will back this side, because it's not like we've been playing poorly recent years. Last year, the fact that we finished third and we had literally no centre-backs fit, it's detriment to how good this Liverpool side is. But I fully understand where everyone and under the influence, and that's why I've put that man behind me, because he is. I'd love no better player than him in midfield to complement. He's still a young player. Barella, I know I keep on waxing lyrical of you, a regular on the channel, but wherever he goes, he could go to Real Madrid in the future. But obviously, Inter very much skint. Keeping hold of Lautaro Martinez anyway, the Argentinian striker, but if they are selling him in the future, for me, he would complement Liverpool's midfield so much. There's Basuma links. Neuhaus as well from Gladbach. There's a lot of great other midfielders as well. But there will come a time when Liverpool do need to refresh. As Luke's already alluded to tonight, there will come a point where Liverpool have to replace the forward three lads. Eventually, Henderson will retire. Milner's legs. That Luke, that's important as well. And when Milner does leave, that's when Liverpool will go into the market, and because the fact that you'd lose Milner's legs and Ginny's legs in midfield and Henderson's legs and leadership qualities as well, but how much we emphasise in terms of running in the midfield. I think that's so very important that we have to identify in the future midfield options as well, and not just midfield but attacking areas as well. Do you reckon, guys?
Yeah, I think I think Jack, I agree with you 100%. I know we'll just go with like the Wijnaldum situation. Obviously, it's important, but at some point, I think Liverpool, when Klopp will address that, to maybe bring someone in to replace it. But I think the key moment there is that leadership quality. And as good as Wijnaldum's been and consistent, he's not that leadership quality like a Milner. So once Milner goes, I think, or when Henderson's not going to be far behind. Let's be real. He signed that new. He will. Well, hopefully, he'll sign that new contract.
Maybe 35, 36 one.
Yeah, and it's like, Henderson's starting to pick up a little few injuries now, so you're going to only see probably another 1-2 years of Milner and Henderson and this Liverpool top level of football. So once one of them goes, I do think Klopp would be very, very worried to think, right, we need to bring someone in. If it's a Barella, for example, from Inter Milan, if it's a Bellingham or a Gravenberch, for example, like just a few names off the top of my head, that's where I think Klopp is a bit more sort of, right, we need to get something done now.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on there, mate. It just popped into my head as well. I'm all for if Liverpool are waiting, don't get me wrong, with like signings, but as we were speaking about before, John as well, device not connected. John, we'll get you on in a little second, matey. I think once you got your camera on, and you're very welcome to join, mate. The long game, obviously, it's not good. I think for now, we'd think obviously fringe players we could possibly, fingers crossed, we'd get. But if those players, as you mentioned there, mate, and everyone at home probably got their midfield options that they'd like Liverpool to sign as well, that if those players do become available, then sound. I think there's quite a lot of free agents next summer. And whether you've got Ginny's wages have been off the books, yes, we talk about contract renewals as well. I'll try and get you on in a sec, John. I know you're backstage, but if you can try and sort your camera out, mate, just let us know in the comments, mate. Appreciate you popping in. But you're absolutely spot on there, Luke. What do January after halfway through a hectic season? Yeah, it's expected enough. It always has been the case when obviously they're like.
I don't think AFCON will affect it as much.
2 weeks, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and yeah. I think they're only potential. I think that, Salah, Mane, Keita, for example, I think they're only going to miss 2 league games. I mean, don't get me wrong, they will miss them games, of course. I think I see it was an FA Cup 4th round game, which would probably be, or we'll probably be at the FA Cup by the time that happens anyway. Like we'll probably get a Premier League.
We don't take them seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Premier League team away from home, we'll definitely lose that. And I think it was it Palace and Brentford? I think the 2 games that we've missed. So I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, that they're important games, but at least it's not 5 to 6 weeks, and it's only 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's every team, top level team, especially obviously the likes of City, Chelsea, all of them have got at least 1 or 2 AFCON players that will be going away with international duty anyway, mate. But Liverpool and all the clubs in the Premier League and around Europe will be having a strong stance on any future international fixtures anyway. They've said we're not going to be letting players go on, especially if they're going to red zone countries or whatever you class them as, or like different zones.
Because like just adding to your point as well, mate, even we don't know what it's going to be like in the next couple of months with COVID. Like it could come to November, December, and those countries are still on red list, travel restrictions. So the likes of Egypt, Senegal, they might not be allowed to have Mane and Salah. Like Liverpool could turn it away. And to be honest, like you've seen the Premier League and FIFA have backed it. We may not lose these players. So, fingers crossed that COVID obviously is in effect. Like, obviously, all jokes aside, but it's you just don't know. I mean, obviously,
football can be changing very quickly over the space of 24 hours. Just look at everyone, mate. But yeah, it's John. I think you're on 2 devices there, John. If you let me know in the chat, let me know what device you're on. If you're on the best viewing experience, you've got Google Chrome, mate. Try and copy the link into Google Chrome. It doesn't quite work on Safari as well. Let me know. Just try and leave out and then just try and get back into through Google Chrome, mate. Try and get you in. Andrew, on that comment, mate, Haaland, no. As we were speaking before, mate, me and Luke, and obviously, Mina Raiola, don't get me wrong, world-class player, but as Raiola has been speaking quite publicly over this last week, he's looking to get Haaland on, what is it, a couple of million a week? It's stupid money, in it, Luke? Don't get me wrong.
Just think he won the European Forward of the Year, obviously just announced. His stock's going to just rise up. It's the wages and, the transfer. I think that release clause will probably be wiped away. I don't think Dortmund are going to lose him for a certain amount of money. I think they're going to try and, get him re-signed onto a new contract and then sell, for big money next summer or summer after.
It's a very interesting time, isn't it, mate?
Oh, yeah.
We were always like behind the money clubs, but we Klopp at the helm. We match up with them. Spot on there, Raymond. George, how you doing, George? Absolute legends. Very big game.
Brother-in-law's in the chat. Here he is.
Yeah, spot on that. It's going to be a big game tomorrow. R5 kickoff. Can't wait for it. It's going to be a good counter for both sides. It will be a test. I think obviously both of us haven't really played anyone big.
He's been giving me stick all week saying, Chelsea are going to do this. Just since they won the Champions League, he's just been like that.
We'll find out come the end, won't we, Luke? And tomorrow night, fingers crossed, Liverpool can do the business, but it's not the end of the world if any teams do drop points tomorrow, because over the space of 38 calendar game season, it will be interesting. It is refreshing that your channel is not attacking supporters who are questioning LC's policy, like they're not real supporters, or channels have good real people having opinions. I don't think anyone's attacking anyone's opinions, mate. It's like Luke as well. We spoke off camera about, obviously it's very important setting up our channels. I'm not going to sit here because football is all about opinions and life is all about opinions, but it's about respecting each other's opinions. And there's a amount of rubbish I've spoken on my channel over the last couple of years. But life's about opinions, and if someone doesn't agree with my opinion, sounds. I'm not going to sit here all night and go, I wish that person. But I really do care about all your thoughts and opinions. That's why I set up the channel to try and get Luke on tonight, because with due respect, he's got a lot more better opinions than me on some points as well. So, but yeah,
we're all one team, mate.
We look after each other, and that's what we've got to do, mate. But all your thoughts are made up. Every single one is tuning in every single night to mine, Luke's, and everyone's channels. But yeah, absolute legends. You make all the shows, every single one is. Apparently tomorrow at 4 p.m. will be everything. Well, there won't be, mate. Just remember where we used to be and where we are now today, mate. We've got Jurgen Klopp and we've got our amazing world-class squad. It's not the end of the world if we don't sign players, but it'd be nice. But the whole world won't stop anyway. Lukaku gonna get nothing against Virgil van Dijk. Fingers crossed, Suki. How you doing, Josh, as well? Absolute legend. Both by Shanks. Oh. Andrew, I know your thoughts on FSG, mate, but absolute legends.
No, with FSG, you've seen on my channel, Jack, as well. Rick's very, we're both FSG out. Don't get me wrong. We want them to go, but I will respect, what they've done for the club, and the fact of they've guided us to our first Premier League title. So the model must have been working. They've obviously brought in a world-class manager in Klopp. They've obviously built a new stand. They've built a new training facility. It's frustrating to see that we've not got any transfer money as much as what City, United, when they got their oil money, Man City and Chelsea can go and spend what they want. That's not how we operate. But I do get frustrations of why, Liverpool fans want FSG out, because the apology for the Super League, and he's done nothing about it. Like, it's just
Yeah.
How many more countries do you want?
Yeah, I fully agree with that, mate. And I was always on. I'm hoping, obviously, they've introduced, supposedly got good relations with a lot of supporter groups now on the boards at Liverpool Football Club, because the fact and the sheer arrogance of not just Liverpool but these big clubs around Europe that want to just make a breakaway league without any dialogue with fans, that are the most important thing. Everyone pays to go to grounds, goes to the away games, pays subscriptions on all these websites and everything, and then it's the cheek of them. But I think we'll find in the long run, I think Liverpool are going to be playing the long game, and as Jurgen Klopp comments over the last 24 hours have said, we're building for the future, and that's, as you hit the nail on the head as always, mate. And everyone at home, it's not Jurgen Klopp's philosophy to go out and blow a load of money on players, mate. Guardiola himself says it in his recent times, when he's managed to Barca, Bayern as well, City. He's practically said, I had a war chest, and he practically admits and laughs to himself and says, yes, I am a checkbook manager. Didn't say those words, but more or less might as well said them.
Pep Guardiola.
Yeah. But yeah, it's still interesting. Tillmans, I don't think so, mate. Command. Said that really posh, didn't I? Command a very big transfer fee, mate, but he's a cracking player. Might be a different red to use, but the knowledge, a lot of knowledge passed around this channel. Always good to hear with all the love of the game. Spot on there, Josh. And obviously, you'll be very happy, mate, won't you? Obviously, a Man United fan, one of my good mates from uni, absolute legend. We've been winding each other up over the last couple of years anyway. So, but spot on there, Josh. Thank you very much, mate. I'm not the biggest fan, but let's be honest, yeah, they've never been stingy with their money. They have just been ripped off. Big players charge ridiculous fees. It's more frustrating than anything. Yeah, I can fully agree with that, Jack. And as Luke alluded to, and everything going to use, when the right player, as me and Luke were saying at the top of the show, or use at the top of the show as well, when the right player is available, Liverpool will go, right. Jurgen Klopp will, even if he has to practically beg to FSG, I want to sign this player, we will sign a player. And the fact of Liverpool's recent performance over the last couple of years, Luke, that's just a big advertisement to themselves. And if you're a player, don't get me wrong, a lot of them go for the money, but a lot of them want to go for the best chances to win in the Champions League. If you can't go to PSG or Real Madrid, then you're going to be looking at who's been the most successful in terms of recent times in Europe. You're very much looking at Liverpool as a favoured destination for any potential player to come in and want to win the Champions League and the Premier League. It's not like we've not had recent good success over the last 4 years in the Premier League and Champions League to go, Liverpool fans are being arrogant. No, we're being understanding in recent years. Our performances warrant that being arrogant, if you get me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I don't think there's much else to be said on that, mate. I absolutely agree with what you're saying. 100%.
I would be 100% buy a new kit because it looks fresh, but now after the Super League nonsense, Josh, I'll get you Ronaldo kit. I might put like £50 in your account, lads, and just say you can buy it. I'd never ever set foot on that website. I'm not talking about OnlyFans. Talking about Man United's website. There you go. FSG didn't guide us to success. Klopp did. All the credit belongs to him.
I have to give FSG a little bit of credit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Premier League title wise, maybe Klopp. I'll give that. Champions League, yes, obviously, but. How did Klopp get in the Liverpool job? FSG brought him in. I mean, let's be real. I mean, they
FSG, must have given him a big pitch to come to Liverpool.
Don't get me wrong, and let's be. If we're going to look at ownership regarding the likes of, let's compare it to like Chelsea. If Jurgen Klopp was in the Chelsea job, he'd have been sacked after 2 years. He would never have been given the 4 to 5 years to rebuild a squad, to build and Klopp said in his very first interview, it's going to take me 4 years to win the Premier League title, and he weren't far wrong. And I think that's basically FSG saying to him, we're going to give you this amount of time. We know you're the man to get us this Premier League, Champions League, and we're going to give you that time and luxury. And I think that's where you have to give FSG a little bit of credit, because they've stuck behind him. At the bad times, they've stuck behind him. And Klopp, I'd say 2/3 of it, maybe 3/4 of it, is him. But you have to give FSG a little bit of credit.
Yeah, I think once Salah sorted, mate, and when I'd love it, and I've something at the back of my mind just saying, Jürgen, his wife is going to have a word of him go. I love Liverpool. That his lads love it at Liverpool as well. He signs a new deal. I'm like, I'd love that more, especially off the news of obviously Guardiola announcing a couple of weeks ago anyway, or it was this week, that he will be ending his contract in about 2 years' time, is it, Luke? Yeah. So I'd love nothing more if Jürgen went, yes, sounds. I want to leapfrog City. Obviously, City and Chelsea, they'll always have high caliber, and even United to an extent as well. Not a minute. But in terms of having high, in terms of being in contention and being in that bracket really of competing. But yeah, right there. I have to wrap it up. Me and Luke have got to win a couple of games of Warzone before he goes to bed. Before we go to bed. But spot on there, Dave.
We won one last night. We've got to win 2 tonight.
Aye. On the bounce. Liverpool know what they want, and they will pay when they want. Liverpool is definitely a club that allows players to charge a premium for themselves if they transfer out of Liverpool later. Spot on there, Josh. Absolutely spot on. Luke, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Make sure you head over to Luke's channel, 1892 Reds podcast. Him and Ricky doing a cracking job. Got amazing guests on, as always. Got any future plans for this week anyway for new shows, mate?
Yeah, again, Jack, thanks for letting me come on, mate. Always a pleasure. But we've got our review show, of course, after the full-time whistle tomorrow. We've got our Premier League review show on Monday. We'll look at all the 10 games from this weekend, and we're going to have some videos over the international break as well, because if anyone obviously are England fans or any other international fans, it's not the same when it's not a major tournament. So we're gonna have some content for the international break before our next league game, obviously in the next few weeks' time. So yeah, come and join us straight after the full-time whistle tomorrow.
Yeah, head over. Make sure I just love it. I honestly have to sit down and set up a load of tabs and then make sure to watch everyone's videos. So no favoritism from anyone's channel. I'll just make sure to go through every single one of them. But thank you very much for coming on, Luke. Absolute legends. Head over, subscribe over there if you've enjoyed it tonight, Reds. And to every single one of you, Josh, Eamon, Dave, Jack 11 FIFA, Nad as well, Andrew, John, George as well, North as well, Connor from the Cop Council, Sophie as well, absolute legends. Every single one of you, Gary as well, and everyone, if you're watching this on the replay, hope you're having a cracking night anyway. Enjoy the footy tomorrow. I'll be here for the post-match reaction as well. So if you want to jump on that, absolute legends. Fingers crossed Liverpool can get all 3 points. And if you missed our pre-match build-up show done with Josh, an absolute good mate, Chelsea supporter as well, yesterday, it's on the channel, so get your thoughts on the starting lineup. But Reds, have a lovely evening and enjoy your weekend. And fingers crossed the Reds can go. And really do appreciate it, Luke, and every single one is at home. You make these shows absolute legends, and I'll see you tomorrow for another night. But enjoy your night. Shut up, Reds.